112, the number to text. What do you think should be done to stop people littering? Well, Carolyn Thomas is a member of the Welsh Local Government Association. She's also the Cabinet Member for the Street Scene and Countryside at Flintshire County Council. Morning, Carolyn.
Good morning, Claire.
How does it make you feel when you see the mess, the litter that people are leaving on our streets?
Oh, it's really disappointing and upsetting. I just hope that people could actually take it home with them. We don't have an infinite amount of resources as local authorities anymore. Over the last 10 years, we've had to become lean and efficient, and by clearing up the streets, we could be taking our operatives away from other essential services, such as grass cutting, gully emptying. And we just ask if people could be more responsible and take their rubbish home with them. We have really good recycling in Wales as well. And, I see people have taken bags of rubbish with them, bags of food and drink with them, and left behind bags of plastic and cans. And you think, that could be taken home and recycled and reused, elsewhere. And with it being left, it's so damaging for the environment, for our natural environment. It gets in our water through gullies, highway drains, but also when it's left, of course, at the beaches and by riversides, it gets into the watercourses that way.
Yeah,
and it's so harmful.
Yeah, and the people who are left to clear up the mess, ironically, are probably the key workers that we were all clapping for 2 months ago.
Absolutely, yes. Our waste recycling crews, they were out, when everybody else was in lockdown. It's a tough job. They walk on average 12 to 16 miles a day, go to 1,500 properties in Flintshire. Some staff were shielding, and so they were collecting people's waste. Some of it, the recycling hadn't been washed. People putting tissues in with paper, and but they were out there every day, worried themselves about picking up the coronavirus, taking it back to the families. But they were there 7 days a week in Flintshire. We were operating, collecting people's rubbish through it all.
And what about in terms of the staff having to clean it up? Hearing about PPE being discarded, face masks and gloves and tissues. I mean, do staff raise concerns about the danger to them in clearing this mess up?
Well, absolutely, yes. It was raised. It was raised with us. We provided ourselves hand sanitizers for the refuse collectors, but it was raised. In the morning before they went out on the rounds, they would go straight into the vehicles rather than meet up together and mingle together. We were really, really cautious to keep them safe as possible, but then they're out there and they're worried about picking up contaminated waste. And when items are left on the roadside or in beauty spots, and you don't know whether it's contaminated. And I said that we very often see gloves discarded now, and tissues, wet wipes as well, outside supermarkets and shops. It's pretty selfish, really, and unkind.
So, Carolyn, how do we stop this? How do we prevent this from happening in our beauty spots? I mean, in terms of punishment as a deterrent, are fines the answer?
Yeah, well, it's one of those carrot and stick, isn't it? I think with some people, you can appeal to their better nature and say, somebody once said to me, I pick up litter by my home. I hate to see it. And somebody said to me, what are you doing that for? It's not your job. And I said, well, I wouldn't expect a council worker to travel 10 miles from a depot to pick up an item of rubbish when I can easily pick it up myself and do my bit. And I'm just asking people, if you brought food and drink with them, take your rubbish home, please help out, because you're using up vital resources people pay council tax for. We haven't got the staff to keep on top of it all.
Yeah, and in terms of cost as well, I mean, the cost to clear up the mess, can you afford to clear up after people?
Well, no, as I said, 10 years of cuts to council funding, we've gone down from 6 depots to 1 depot in Flintshire. We've become lean, and our resources are tight. So when we're faced with something unusual like abnormal weather, heavy snow, flooding, and now the pandemic, when we've had to work in different ways, our resources become stretched. We've not had the usual income of funding either. So, because councils have had to become quite commercial over the years. So we've had reduced income, such as, the leisure centres have been closed, car parking, registry service. So we've not been able to have this income, but outgoings have increased as we've had to work differently. We have staff shielding as well, so we've had to maintain curbside collection, which has grown while people are in lockdown. Eating and drinking more at home, ordering more online. We've had to cover the cost of it.
So how do you get that message out? Coronavirus is not an excuse for littering.
I think, like I said, appealing to people's better nature. I'm hoping we can work together as councils and the WLGA and Welsh Government to have a Keep Wales Tidy campaign to remind people, please act responsibly. Look after your local environment, because we've got to work together on this. We can fine people as well as an alternative, so that's a stick. So we will be doing that as well, have enforcement.
Okay.
But I think it's both, really.
Carolyn, great to talk to you. Thank you very much. Ash